guys, and welcome back to the Toaster Talk Show. I'm your toast host, Nicole Rand, and today we are talking about the super simple secret stuff that you need to know as a job seeker to be successful. All right, so without further delay, I will hop right into it. You want to know what it is? I bet you want to know what it is, especially if you've been a job seeker for a really long time. Here is the secret. Sell yourself. Now, before you get too aggravated because you're like, oh my God, I've already heard that before. I know that that's nothing new. The truth in it is you need to really think about yourself like a product, right? What does selling yourself even mean? That's the problem, is it's hard to really understand, to comprehend what does selling yourself even mean. You need to think of yourself as a toy, right? And you need to think of how people are going to react to you based on that. Now, I want you to think about when you were a kid and you got a new toy. And it was a toy that maybe was a little bit more complicated. And it came with what? It came with the absolutely most boring thing ever: instructions. Did you read the instructions? No, most of us didn't, right? There are some people who are very diligent. Before they even touch the toy or the product, they pull out those instructions and read them cover to cover. Most people don't. At best, people will skim through it, but first they try to play with it, and then they'll go to the instructions if they need to. My whole point here, though, is that is what you are like to recruiters and hiring managers, right? And I hate to simplify it so much, but I'm doing it for your benefit. It's just when a company puts open a new position, right? They're excited about the person that they can potentially bring on. They're excited about what that person has to offer. They're excited, but what they have to do first, before they pick which toy they're going to bring on, is they have to read the boring instructions, aka your resume, right? This is, we can go into the depths of how we created this whole resume hell ourselves, but I won't get into that. It is what it is right now. And I've said this a million times, and as a former recruiter who has seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of resumes over the year, I can tell you, I read one resume that was actually entertaining, and it was by a kindergartner teacher. So I don't know, I hate to say, maybe she was speaking to my level, but the truth of it is that we're all basically kids inside, right? We like the colors, we like the stories, but at the end of the day, you can't put that on a resume, right? If you're an executive or director or whatever the position is, quite frankly, unless you are going to be a kindergarten teacher, you can't put that type of stuff on your resume. So what do you do instead to not bore to death recruiters, or worst of all, to get recruiters to pass over you? Because again, as much as we know that we should be reading your resume, if there's a lot of other resumes, we're going to go to the ones that are simplest. We're going to go to the ones that are clearest, most concise, the ones that pop, the ones that catch our attention, right? If you're starting off with a paragraph, oh boy, my eyes have already crossed and I'm pushing your resume to the side. I will read this later. Secret, I never read it later, right? And same with most recruiters. Unless you are the single solitary person applying, they are not reading a novel, okay? So again, it's all about selling yourself and putting yourself in that mindset that you are selling yourself. Your resume is more like a brochure, right? Think about a brochure for that toy. You want to talk about the really snazzy features of it. And you want to talk about what makes this toy cool and why they should have this toy. Once they bring the toy in, they can see it, they can kind of play with it a little bit, i.e. the interview, talk to you, whatever, right? Then they can learn more about the toy. They can be more impressed, right? But every step of the way, you are selling yourself like a product. And I know that is so hard on people emotionally and mentally doing it that way. But if you retrain your mindset to think about yourself in that manner, you're actually going to get better results, right? If you're like, oh my gosh, I need to put all my work history and information on this resume, they must know all this. No, they mustn't know all of it. They just need to know what's applicable to the job you're applying for, right? They need to be dazzled. You need, again, that pop. That's what I'm always doing for clients' resumes. It's about that pop. It's about catching that attention. It's about making sure the recruiter or hiring manager doesn't have to do much reading, right? They want very minimal reading. They want to be able to scan. And I'm so passionate about this because so many people don't realize this, and they get caught up, you know, in their own head going, oh, I've got to have this or I got to have that. And how do you stand out? You stand out by actually getting the recruiter or the hiring manager to read your resume, even if it passes through the ATS. If it is a novel, they are not reading it, right? So again, you have to have that sales mentality, right? How do you want a product sold to you? Think about it. Literally, watch commercials, look at advertisements, realize what is it that attracts me, right? It's usually just very basic, very quick things that tell you about that product and why you should have it. And you need to have that mindset when you're going into a job search for yourself. Remember, just like toys, you're just one of millions of toys out there. Why should they pick you? Why do you stand out? There's a lot of people that have the same title as you. That's not enough, right? So it's all about that pop. It's all about that sales. It's very difficult when everybody has a black and white resume with nothing but words on it, right? You know, I don't encourage putting little pictures everywhere, although you would stand out. I don't know if they call you in, but you would stand out. But yeah, so it's you really got to look for the different ways that you can make yourself pop. And then once you get into the interview, again, it's all about making sure that you have carefully curated stories that, again, represent you well, what you can do, and why the company should bring you on. So if you're in a job search, keep in mind, it's all about selling yourself like a toy. You're now the toy. Anyway, I hope this helps for you guys. I just wanted to put that out there real quick. Thank you again for attending my toaster talk, and until next time, don't get burnt.